It's carrying on a tradition stretching back 135 years. Designed by Brunel, it originally took passengers and freight to Watchet harbour. It was extended to Minehead after the wealthy Luttrell family discovered the port was losing money to its neighbour. It brought wealth to West Somerset, even if the weather occasionally got the better of it. In those days, the train was what people took to get to the seaside. Towns like Weymouth and Minehead blossomed under the tourist onslaught, but the motor car was coming and trains began to suffer. In 1971, British Rail pulled out, leaving the West Somerset Railway to the weeds, and a small band of enthusiasts who, with little financial backing, fought to reopen tiny sections at a time. It took 5 years to open the line to Blue Anchor in 1976, then later in that hot summer to make good the track to Willerton. 2 years passed before Stogumber was opened, and another 12 months passed before Bishop's Lydeard was reached. It was volunteer help that carried the company through the early years, and without which it couldn't survive today. 400 of them toil in all weathers.
I was born in Taunton, and I remember the Great Western Railway and Western Region, and it's nice to work on a real steam railway. What about you?
I just love being here because of the countryside, and I love the sound and the smell and everything to do with railways.
In 1989, the railway hired the massive Evening Star. Built in Swindon, she was British Rail's last steam locomotive. Thousands of rail devotees flocked to ride on the great train, to photograph her and spend their money. The company made its first operating profit, and it desperately needed the cash.
We have 23 miles of track, and that all has to be maintained. It means 50 miles of fence. There are 10 stations. So our overheads, our costs, and the sheer amount of energy required just to keep the line in one piece is bigger than any one other preserved railway anywhere in the country.
From then on, specials were brought in as often as possible. Engines like the Locomotion, only the second locomotive ever to be built after Stephenson's rocket. Kings of the track puffed past Bishop's Lydeard. This wasn't your average train spotting fare. The railway had confounded critics. 10 Great Western engines, the biggest ever collection in working order, gathered together earlier this year to celebrate the company's 21st birthday. Storms lashing Minehead last October brought an unexpected bonus. Repairs to the sea wall meant 80,000 tonnes of rock is needed. The railway's the first private line to win this kind of lucrative contract. Progress is still being made. On Wednesday, it was announced passenger trains could run through from the main line if new signalling is put in. It could change the track forever.
We will have to think possibly about employing more staff, and instead of being a time capsule as it is now, it will inevitably become part of a larger network.
Although being next to the sea brings huge benefits, coastal erosion is the downside. The track may not survive autumn storms before repair work can begin next spring. It'll be touch and go. And talking of going, I must be off. The great thing about this railway is trains are usually on time. No problems here with leaves on the line or the wrong type of snow. It's 3:25, and puffing up the incline to Crocombe Heathfield comes my lift home.
Now, the next chilly morning, you complain about your car being slow to start. Think about taking 3 hours or so to get one of these going. Unleaded coal, of course. Bert Hitchens, the owner, knows all the problems.
So, Bert, does it cost an awful lot of money, or do you depend very much on dedicated free labour?
It depends very much on dedicated free labour, and it still costs a lot of money. It's ongoing expense. Every 7 years, in this case, you've got something like 120, 150,000 pounds to spend on it. So you'll appreciate it, depreciating at approximately 20,000 pounds a year, plus running expenses. So it's an expensive business.
Good Lord, I was worried about my car.
Well, this is my BMW, isn't it?
Train now standing at platform 2 will form the 10:25 service all stations to Minehead. Calling Crookham Heathfield, Stogumber, Williton, Donegal Beach, Watchet, Washford, Blue Anchor, Dunster and Minehead.
Well, amazing. Considering the number of people involved in the amount of work, they're on time. Now, where's he going with a white shirt on? Oh dear, I hope his missus isn't watching. Holiday traffic? What holiday traffic? This is the way to get to the seaside. Well, we're on a delightful old train, approaching a delightful old station where, with any luck, I'm going to meet a delightful old gentleman. Harry Horn, I'm proud indeed to meet you.
Thank you.
At 93 years old, I imagine you are probably the oldest station master in the entire world.
Well, we meet so many people here, different people every day, and it keeps me going.
Harry, tell me about the duties of a signalman, because you used to be a signalman on this line, didn't you?
Yes, I did. And it was very varied, really, because one had to be a signalman and also be able to work on the station, doing the station work, and helping the station master, of course, with various accounts and at the end of the month. But it was interesting meeting people again. You see, previous to that, I was on the main line for quite a time, several years, 12 years in fact, on the Westbury line, and I didn't meet anybody. When you're a signalman, you don't meet anybody from the time you go to work until you leave. The only contact you got is by telephone or on your signal, your bell calls. You don't meet anyone, you see. It's very isolated.
Harry, one thing I always remember about small stations is they always seem to have nice, neat gardens, and this is absolutely beautiful. Now, who does the gardening?
My wife, almost entirely, except for cutting the grass. We have a man every fortnight to cut the grass. Otherwise, she does everything.
I think you've got the secret of long life there, Harry. Keep yourself active and keep involved with people.
Maybe. I hope so.
Well, according to the book, Stogumber is one of the prettiest villages in England. For since eight. The guidebook is absolutely right. This is a beautiful village. The reason why it's so beautiful is because it's so peaceful. Which gives me a dilemma. Now, if I say how lovely it is, everybody will come and visit it, and then it'll be full of cars, it won't be lovely anymore. So what can I say about Stogumber? It's horrible. Don't bother.
You know, I've never really been a great train enthusiast, but that's probably because I didn't have a train set when I was a kid.
You're making up for your deprived childhood now. Watchet is our next point of call, you know. It's our
Great.
signal stop. What do you
Lovely
know about
place.
Watchet? Well, I can tell you it was the original terminus on the line, which apparently explains why the building stands at right angles to the track.
Right angles.
And there's more. It's right in the village centre and very close to the harbour. And Fred has been finding out more.
Where are you, Fred?
Ah, the sea. Must be near Watchet now. Used to be a real industrial centre, the book says. Now, in major seaport cities like Watchet, everything centres around the harbour. So that's where I'm heading. I want to find out about old Watchet. Seems to me this would be the place to start.
Well, Jack Pointer, you're from an old established Watchet family, and you've probably seen a few changes in the trade around here then.
That's quite right, Fred. I've seen tremendous changes in the last 50 or 60 years. At one time, of course, Watchet was a very prosperous town because of the iron ore mines, and they were coming down from the hills, taking iron ore out onto the West Pier, and from the West Pier, of course, it was being transshipped across to South Wales.
They actually had a railway, didn't they, that came down from the hills?
They actually had a railway, yes, the West Somerset Mineral Railway. In fact, that was the first railway to come to Watchet. And of course, because of the trade, they had to build an extension arm into the harbour for the purpose of depositing the ore into the sailing ships which were taking it across to South Wales.
So there must have been some pretty spectacular ships in here.
Oh, there were, yes.
I believe it even inspired a famous poem.
Yes, it did. Coleridge came to reside at Netherstowey for 18 months, and he used to walk regularly across the Quantock Hills into Watchet. And it was here that we believe he had the inspiration for writing that famous poem, The Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. And we're very proud of that.
Well, now the trade's gone from Watchet, what's the future?
Well, the District Council and the local council now have plans to develop the harbour as a marina. And it's hopeful that this marina will come about in the not too distant future.
They calls me Hanging Johnny, away, boys, away. They says I hangs for money, so hang, boys, hang. I'd hang me blasted cousins, away, boys, away. I'd hang 'em by the dozen, so hang, boys, hang. Make fast and belay there. Wonderful. Fred Wedlock, lovely to meet you.
Martin Bubb and Croom.
Who's this merry bunch then?
Well, these are my shanty singers. We're all people from round about here.
Oh, I couldn't resist coming down. I could hear you from near Minehead, actually.
Oh, well, it's a local shanty that we were singing. That one was actually collected here in Watchet.
In Watchet itself?
In Watchet. When Cecil Sharp was collecting his folk songs at the turn of the century, he came by Watchet and he met a sailor called John Short, named as Yankee Jack. And all falls into place. Yankee Jack, you'll have seen the little boat. Yankee Jack had some 50 or 60 sea shanties that hadn't been collected elsewhere. Of course, I suspect that Cecil Sharp wrote down the sanitised versions rather than what the sailors might really have sung when the boss and the passengers were out of earshot.
Can you do another Yankee Jack one?
Oh, I think we could. Way, haul away, we'll haul away together. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Way, haul away, we'll haul for better weather. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe.
Hello, that's interesting. Now that is a Bridgewater flatty. I saw some of those in that workshop up by the station. I'll go and find out about those. Derek Vivian, they tell me you've actually built a Bridgewater flatty from scratch.
Yes,
You know what they're all about then. What are they for?
Inshore fishing, general trading. We even used to go to Wales to fetch coal from little spots.
Why that particular shape? Why the flat bottom?
They'll sit on the mud and get going quicker than anywhere else. Most of them came from the Parrot.
Are they unique, or is there anywhere else in the world you get these?
You'll virtually get the similar boats, flat bottom boats, virtually anywhere in the world. The main one is over in Newfoundland. I personally think Cabot took them over and used it for their salt cod.
Well, we all agree he discovered America, yeah?
Yeah, well, he discovered America, and the Dory started gaining from America. This was the nearest boat he could have taken over.
How many of them have you got in the harbour now?
This is the only one. Hopefully we'll get somebody else interested in building a couple couple more, get some more.
So much a whole fleet of Bridgewater flatties.
Oh, I'd love to. Of course, yeah, the more the merrier, you know, because if they put a marina here, so what, we'll go up the beach. If they don't put a marina here, let the harbour silk up, we can still use the harbour.
Well, joining me now is Anne Ridge, one of the very, very few female guards. Hello, Anne.
Hello.
Tell me all about your job.
Well, the most important part is the safety of the train. When I arrive in the morning, I have to get down on the track and check all underneath the train, check the brakes, check that the coach is connected together. I have to make sure the lamp is on the back of the train.
Do you ever have any nasty or embarrassing stories when you're driving your train and you wave goodbye to a carriage?
It hasn't happened yet. That's what we trade. That's what we trade.
And what about the brakes? I mean, it'd be a nasty surprise for you if the brakes actually did fail while you were under there.
Well, if the brakes failed, the train would come to a stop.
Right.
Because it's a vacuum brake. If the pipe came apart, the train would stop.
Now, unlike most guards, you actually travel on the train, don't you?
Yes, we do. Yes.
What do you do on the train?
Well, before the train leaves, we have to make sure the passengers are on safely.
Yeah.
All the doors have got to be shut.
Yeah.
The signal's got to come down. We've got to have a piece of wood which we call the staff, which says that we can travel along a single track line.
It's a very busy bob then, because there's a lot entailed in your job.
That's right.
Now,
that's
like
right.
a referee, you have to carry a few things around with you, don't you?
Yes. I've got my whistle.
Go on, give
and
the
I've got my flag.
Oh, yeah, can I have a go at that? What does this mean then?
That means that you can go. It's safe to go.
It means it's safe to go.
That's right.
Great. So tell me, what else do you do? What's the best bit about your job?
I just enjoy it. It's totally absorbing. When I'm down here, I forget about work and I forget about the family, and I just enjoy being on the train.
So it's a very absorbing job.
That's right.
Yeah. Do you get the mickey taken out of you because you're a girlie?
Not really. Some of the passengers are a bit surprised, but the staff have been very good. When I was training, they were very patient with me.
So it's obviously something you really enjoy.
That's right, I do.
Brilliant. Well, thanks very much for sharing that with us. Thank you. Well, our Fred's been on and off trains all week. Doesn't he ever get the best jobs? He's been annoying the passengers. He's been annoying the guards. But it could have been worse. He could have taken his guitar.
One thing I've noticed about steam trains is that everybody connected with them, crew, staff, passengers and casual observers, are so blooming contented. Why have you come for a day out on the West Somerset Railway?
Because this takes us back to our childhood. This is what life is about. The high-speed jet life that you live nowadays, we all live, to come back to this wonderful steady pace, the smell of the steam.
And the countryside is
The countryside is beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I will you be here.
Right, we'll have your tickets ready, please. All tickets.
Well, we've got another way.
Right, you're going to Minehead. Jolly good. There we are.
Well, we've met nice, friendly people. We've got good scenery. It's cheap, and it's going to take us to where we want to go.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. The buffet car is now open, serving lukewarm tea, diabolical coffee, roll-up beverages. Thank you very much.
Aha! Colin, can I have a cup of your lukewarm coffee and industrial grade rock cake, please?
You can have lukewarm tea or diabolical coffee.
I'll settle for the diabolical coffee.
One diabolical, please, Ruth.
Is it really?
Well, occasionally a good one gets through, but if it is, bring it back so we'll change it.
David, you're part owner of the engine that's pulling it. So you're a rich man then, I suppose.
No, well, I'm a part owner in the overall of the engine, which is a bit different. The form department gives me pay for the overall.
Really? So, I mean, that's just paying out money, isn't it? You don't...
Oh, it's paying out money, yeah. Well, nobody makes any money with these things.
So you don't even own a bit of the engine if you wanted to sell it on?
Well, probably a rivet and a stain up, that's about all.
Were you from a railway background?
I went onto the railway at Wakefield in 1958 and I became a fireman. But then I could see that steam was going out, so I left and went down the pit. So I'm still involved with coal. And then in 1992 they gave me a lot of money and said don't come back. So I went back and became a driver, which was what I set out to do in 58.
What a great character. And of course, steam locomotion is all about character and memories and nostalgia. That's why it's so popular with people that are into it. Now I've got Roger, Ron and Alan with me. Let's go to you, Roger, first of all. Why are you a train enthusiast?
Well, I like trains. I always come down here, taking pictures of trains.
Has it been a lifelong hobby?
Oh, no. Since I've been doing photography.
So what's your favourite picture along the line? I mean, there are so many beautiful places along here. What's your particular favourite?
The one on the other side of the village.
What about it?
There's a bit of a gradient where the train comes up, and you get a good picture of the train. A lot of smoke coming out.
Brilliant. Let me talk to Ron. Ron, what's your particular engine that you've seen on this line?
On this line, well, I came there really to see Tor Valley, but that's been out of operation today. It's one
Best laid plans.
Yeah, it's one I've never caught up with before, and I was particularly interested in seeing it.
Have you always been into trains?
I've always been into trains.
Did you have a train set as a boy?
I had a Hornby train set. Yeah. I lived only 3 doors away from the railway, so I was brought up on the railway.
It's a lifelong thing.
It's been a lifelong thing.
Alan, finally, what about for you? What's so special about trains?
I like them really. The smell and the power.
What about diesels of modern day? Aren't you into them
no,
at all?
No, not a bit.
Nothing.
No.
An awful lot of people here today say they do absolutely nothing for them.
Nothing for them. They're dead.
Yeah. What's your particular favourite then?
It's got to be the train. That'd be the thing over the second.
Where's that one? What does that look like?
The King. The Keep Western Mary King.
Oh, chap.
It's a big car.
Oh, it's a Didcot, it isn't here?
No,
I see you live in your street. See, I don't know anything about trains. We're doing well here, aren't we? Anyway, chaps, lovely to see you. Have a good day. Enjoy it. Are you going back on the train later?
Yes.
Of course. There wouldn't be a day without it. Let's continue our trail along the tracks now and visit the station with a bit of an unexpected twist.
Roy Pitman is stationed master at Watchet, and also at this station there is a Somerset and Dorset museum. Now that seems a bit strange to me, Roy, because I thought the Somerset and Dorset was somewhere else. Well, originally, when the trust was formed in 1966 after the closure of the Somerset and Dorset Railway, we established ourselves at Radstock. But unfortunately, in the 70s, when the last of the collieries closed, and they lifted all the railway lines in the vicinity, we had to make a decision. Did we stay there and have a museum that was not railway connected in any way, or did we move somewhere where we could at least come where there was a live railway, and where the locomotive we owned could probably be preserved and restored?
And they kindly gave you a home
And the West Somerset offered us facilities here, yes. Is the entire S&D stock you've got here then, Roy? Yes. We've got a lot of smaller items of memorabilia that unfortunately we can't display because of lack of space. But it is switched around on occasions just to give a different display.
So what have you got here?
Well, apart from the rolling stock, we've got the old Burnham-on-Sea signal box across the way, which was came here in a bit of a state and has been preserved by some of our members. We've also got a wagon over there which we use as an advert, but it is in the original colours of the S&D Railway, which was a Prussian blue. We've got a visitor centre. We've also got the shed and workshop over there. And in the shed there is a small locomotive, Kilmerton, which was a Packet. It was the last engine to work on the Somerset collieries, withdrawn in 1973.
Some of these exhibits are very solid. You like to sort of touch them and climb
Yes,
on.
indeed. For instance, just behind you there's a signal box. It's the original Great Western box that was here probably 100 years ago. Well, come inside and have a look for yourself, Fred. Right. It's not a working box, it's just a demonstration box that we let people come in and pull levers and they can relive the old days.
Oh, can't
For
really
instance,
send the train out then?
No. If you like to have a go, if you like to pull off number 8 there, the black one, using the cloth, please, just to...
They always use the cloth, didn't they?
Yeah, to save perspiration on the levers and to cause rust. Right, now if you pull number 5 off, it actually operates a signal on site. Quite a pull.
Aha! It went down.
Yeah. Really? Now the secret is to get it back up.
There it goes.
Yeah. And then just replace number 8 again and that's it.
You have to be fit to be a signal man, isn't it?
Oh, indeed, yes. Yes.
Well, thanks very much, Roy. I enjoyed that. I'd better leave you to look after your station and our train. I'm just going to pop down to Cleeve Abbey. Now, if you find the West Somerset Railway a bit too frantic for you, may I recommend for total peace, Cleeve Abbey. Maureen Freegard, I think, must have one of the nicest jobs in the entire world because she's a custodian of this wonderful building. Do you sort of count your blessings every day you come in? Or?
Oh, yes, I do. It's like another world once you come inside the gate. It's so quiet and it's so peaceful.
How old is the place?
Well, the monks, it was set up as a daughter house for the Easters Abbey in Lincolnshire, and the monks came here in 1198 to start their home.
And when did they leave?
Well, they came under the first Act of Parliament in 1536, dissolution of the monastery. The site was actually valued at less than £200.
That was Henry VIII's, not really.
Yeah.
Which bit are we in at the moment?
This room we're in at the moment is the 15th century freighter, or Eton Place. It was actually started around about 1440. It was never completed in that the wooden roof above us would have been painted and the infill would have been completed.
I see some work going on at the moment. I mean, is there always work going on in buildings like this?
It's a continual process. What they're doing at the moment is repointing. It's mainly maintenance. There's no restoration going on anymore due to the fact that it's so very expensive.
You get many visitors. Do a lot of people know about Cleeve?
No, they don't. A lot of local people believe or do not realise that we're open to the public. And it's a case of when it's on your doorstep, you don't visit.
Well, let's make them aware.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Well, it might be nice and peaceful there, but it's rather noisy here. A train's just arrived. It's a very noisy one at that too, and I've just hoisted 2 passengers off the train to stop and have a chat with me. Hi, where have you come from? What was the journey like?
Right, super. Took about an hour.
Yeah.
Nice trip, nice for the children on the steam train.
Lovely.
Good day out.
What did you see, Corinne, on the way down?
Cows and sheep.
Cows and sheep. And are you pleased you've come to Minehead now for a day out?
Yeah.
I bet you have. How come you've come here for the day out?
First, they enjoy coming to Minehead. What better than to enjoy the steam festival?
Excellent.
Come on the train.
Thanks very much for stopping and talking to me. Kevin!
Sam, thank you very much. Well, nearly time for us to take a break. When we come back, we'll be finding out how you actually drive a train. That should prove interesting. And we'll be visiting one of the major landmarks along the route. Stay with us. Hello again and welcome back to Minehead Station, the West Somerset Steam Weekend. It's their 21st anniversary, HTV coming live to you now. We're on platform 1, it's a bit windswept, and Humphrey Davis is with me. Humphrey, you're a fireman, but you've also got a much bigger role here at the West Somerset Railway, haven't you?
I have, yes. I'm chairman of the West Somerset Railway Association, which is a volunteer body that supports the railway, both financially and with physical help. Today is a typical day. We have over 100 of our members somewhere up the line doing various jobs, cutting back, signalling, driving and firing trains, multiplicity of jobs.
There's such a lot to it, but last year I gather you had 150,000 visitors here.
We did, and we want more. The more visitors we get, the more people can come and enjoy our railway. We would really like to see them here.
Are you planning to expand?
We are expanding our locomotive stock by, with the volunteers, rebuilding locomotives at Williton. We're growing all the time. New coaches, new rolling stock.
Tell me a little bit about Blue Anchor Station, just up the road. What's special about that?
Blue Anchor is one of the last gated level crossings in the country, and definitely in Somerset. Well worth a visit.
Is it?
It's a unique piece of equipment.
I'll tell you what, let's take a look at that.
You can buy souvenirs of your railway trip. Books, badges, mugs and things. But some people aren't contented with that. They want everybody to know where they've been. Now, this might not be what everybody thinks of as a seaside souvenir shop. This is a wonderful discovery. You can just make out on this hubcap the initials GWR. This is an old railway card. Now, you might think we're at a museum, but not. We're at a sort of shopping mall where all the designer labels at least 100 years old. I'm going to find the owner.
Chris Giddings, I don't know whether to describe you as a curator or a proprietor of this establishment. How do you see yourself?
Well, I think I'm a recycler, really. I see myself as a curator and recycler and saviour of old things.
And just by pure chance, people pay you money for them as well.
They do. Isn't that nice?
How much do you want for that lovely old cart there?
That lovely old cart, well, Fred, you could own that for, a couple hundred quid, I should think.
Really? Does it need much restoration?
Well, it depends. That's up to you, how you want it to look when you finish. Do you want it to look real or do you want it to look new?
What if I wanted to use it? I mean, how much of the stuff have you got here is actually reusable?
Oh, lots of it, yeah.
How about that butter churn I thought? Could you use that for butter now?
Oh, yeah. People would use that for demonstrations at shows, at museums, and lots of people are actually making butter and making cheese in the old-fashioned manner.
So have you got a fairly specialist clientele here then, or does the general public come in?
Well, it's across the board, really. There's a lot of the specialists come in. A lot of the rally boys come by steam engine books and stuff like that. But the general public buy a lot of the stuff that isn't rallyable for standing in the garden and picking plants and growing plant stuff and decorating the patio and buy it for all sorts of reasons. Buy the mangles because it reminds them of Gran, and they used to wind it as a little kid.
So you get people driving off from here then in holiday cars with ploughs on the top?
Oh, yeah. All sorts of things. We have to chop things up, we have to dismantle them if they're too big, all sorts of things.
That's wonderful. I'd love to see it. Chris, I reckon it would take me a week to nose around this lot, and I've got a train waiting at Blue Anchor Station. So I'm going to have to leave you. I'll come back.
Nice to see you.
Pleasure.
Come back, bring plenty of money.
I'll bring a horse to take that cart away.
That's the idea.
Now this big, black, beautiful beast here doesn't actually go out of the station because it's waiting for a refit. And for those train spotters out there, it is a 7F, but just in case you didn't know, 53808. So have your pens poised. Now come with me and have a look. We're actually going to go on board. Hello, Jeremy. Jeremy's a train driver. You're going to take us through how this thing runs, aren't you? Where does the key go?
You don't have a key for one of these.
You don't use the key?
No.
How do you start then? How do you get the thing going in the morning?
Right, after making sure we've got some water in the boiler,
Yeah.
then inside here we have to light a big fire.
Right,
to boil
so
up
this is
the
where the
water.
fireman's job will come into it, I guess, and stoke all the fire and chuck it all in. How do you don't suppose you use firelighters, do you?
No, we use wood and oily rags.
Now, I think you told me earlier it takes about 5 hours to get this thing going, doesn't it?
From coal.
So what happens then? What's the next stage?
Then we start preparing the engine, oiling round, the driver must go around, all the moving parts have to be lubricated, still the mechanical lubricated, still
Right.
the oil pots on all the motion parts.
Now, where's all these knobs and buttons come into it then?
Right, these glasses here tell you how much water is in the boiler. As that gets down, we use these, which is the injectors, and that puts more water in the boiler.
Yeah.
This is the regulator, which makes it go.
Right.
This is the reverser, which is like a gear lever on a car and controls whether you go forwards or backwards.
Oh, I see, okay.
That's the brake to stop it.
Uh-huh.
And the whistle.
Where's the
is
whistle?
up here.
Go on, give it a pull.
Whistle here. It won't do anything.
Oh, it
without
doesn't
any-
work.
Without any steam on.
There, I'll sound effect for you. It's obviously a job that you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Is it something that you have to train a long time to do?
It is. You start off as a cleaner, pass some exams, then you can be promoted to fireman, and then ultimately driver. But it
So
takes
it's
several
something
years.
you work up to do. How come, whenever you hear somebody like now on the tunnel, one of the train is now leaving platform, why do they always sound as if they're pinched in the nose? Do you know the answer to that one? It will remain a mystery. But it might take a long time to get these things running, but to actually get them going is an even harder job.
And the job doesn't get much more complicated than this. Braunton, and the person in charge of rejuvenating it is Gareth. Hello there.
Hello.
Where's your start?
Well, the first thing you have to do is to actually dismantle the locomotive down into its component parts. So that will entail removing the boiler, taking the frames off its wheels, and then just stripping it down, stop blasting it, and giving a thorough clean-up.
As an onlooker here, it looks so rusty to me. I would have said it was beyond repair, but I mean, that's certainly not the case, is
No,
it?
certainly not. Far from it. Things like the wheels and the cylinders and again the boiler, they've all got plenty of life left in them, so they need to be basically refurbished, and then we can start the reassembling procedure.
So how many people are going to be working on this?
Well, the voluntary gang I've got is around about 30 people. They come from all different walks of life, all different ages, with lots of different experience.
So of course some of them who are working on it, they don't actually remember a loco like this.
No, quite a lot of us, we don't actually remember these locomotives working, bearing in mind that these locos tend to end life sort of mid-60s, so no, we don't.
So how do you know how to screw them together properly?
Well, basically we've got a lot of plans, a lot of drawings, and we do have a lot of people who do actually remember what they were like, and did actually work in the works and then came through putting back together in work.
Now, of course, in the cab, there's nothing much there at the moment. Where are you going to get the bits and pieces from?
Right. Well, a lot of bits and pieces are all still going to be available anyway, and that's one of the reasons why we bought this locomotive to Parks, which is stood behind Gaunton at the moment. With that locomotive came quite a comprehensive kit of parts, things like all the valve gear, the motor, a lot of the cab fittings and controls, all the smoke box fittings are all with that. So we do have quite a good start with this project.
So where did this loco see service originally?
It did a lot of its work out of places like Waterloo and down to Exeter. It used to work on the Somerset and Dorset line as well, through the Bath and places like that.
And when it's finished, what do you expect it to look like?
Very similar to Tor Valley, which is running on the railway at the moment.
Now this one, Gareth, looks a lot more serviceable.
Yes, it certainly is. It's already been operating on the railway, but it was being stopped now, so we can actually dismantle it and do a full 10-year overhaul on it.
So it's a sort of an MOT it's in for, is it?
That's right, yeah. Every 10 years you have to stop the locomotives, remove the boiler from the frames, dismantle the framework, so you can sort the engine out mechanically. The boiler is removed, you can dismantle the boiler as well, do a full inspection on the boiler. The insurance companies come along and have a look, make sure they're happy with it, and then we can rebuild it to their satisfaction.
So how long has it been here?
We've had it out of service now for 3.5 years.
3.5 years?
Yeah, that's right.
That's a pretty long time, isn't it?
It is quite a long time for locomotives to be out of service. But then all the work we've done here on this locomotive has been carried out by volunteers.
Now, it was a real workhorse, this one. It's a small, sort of little shunter, isn't it, really? When do you expect it to be back working again?
Right, well, we're getting very close now, so we anticipate that we're going to finish this locomotive around about October, end of October time. Once it is finished, it will then go back into service on the railway, and again, it should be a good workhorse for the railway, and we also anticipate on sending it to other railways to use as well.
For another 10 years?
Yes, that's right, yeah, we should get another 10 years out of it, and unfortunately we'll then have to do the whole process again.
Deal with the day-to-day running of the railway line. What kind of a job is that exactly?
Very interesting, but also very demanding at times. They keep the day-to-day operating of the trains, making sure that we have enough staff every day to cover the various jobs, making sure we have enough coaches, enough engines available.
Now you actually use a whole lot of volunteers. What's the percentage of volunteers to yourself, would you say?
Normally we expect 75% of the people who are running the railway at any one time to be volunteers.
Really, that many?
Quite often it's more than that, but that's the sort of number we need every day to operate the railway.
Well, I guess that must pose a problem, because volunteers, what if they don't turn up?
We panic then and try and find a member of staff from somewhere who's available to go and do the job for them. But generally our staff are very good. If they can't make it, they give us as much notice as possible.
Brilliant. Now, John, you actually deal with the timetables and things like that. Tell us a bit more about your job.
Well, I work in the commercial department of the railway. We're responsible for getting the publicity out to people to maintain our current passenger levels. We do the basics as well, selling tickets. At the moment we have a member of the department selling tickets down in the booking office.
Do you have a problem getting the trains actually out on time, like another railway station does, or line does, should I say?
Generally, no. We occasionally get held up, as we were at the start of the programme, by a late arriving passenger. That was a booked party that was having a meal on the train, lunch boxes as part of their day out. And a couple had arrived late, so we proceeded to signal and ask them to hang on until we could get them away.
But nothing I'm sure you can't deal with. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. Now we're over to Fred, who's in the beautiful, picturesque village of Dunster.
Many years ago, I was standing on Dunster Station, and a passenger came up and complained to the driver that it had been very bumpy. And the driver said, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir, but we ran over a rabbit." And the bloke said, "Don't be silly. Would have made it as bumpy as it was." And the driver said, "Well, we had to chase him across a couple of fields, but we got a little blighter in the end." Oh, Dunster, this takes me back. I can smell the sea already. I don't believe this. I'm at Dunster Beach where I used to come on holiday in the 50s, staying in one of the chalets. Now, it's the first time I've been back since then, and I expected it to be all hotels and amusement arcades and that sort of stuff. But it's not. It is exactly the same as I remember it. Now, either I'm in a time warp or something odd going on. I think I'd better investigate. Good boy, Steve Hillbrow, I believe. They told me you're the manager here. Steve, I am amazed. This is exactly how I remember it, all that long ago. Now, is it because we're in a time warp, or is it carefully engineered to be like this?
Well, it's a little bit of both, really. This is a getaway from the world, really, and we haven't changed it a lot in the years since we took over, really, in 1965, and as far back as the 20s, late 20s. The situation here is that our directors and people who look after it want to keep it as a time warp. They want to keep it as it used to be.
But how about individual owners? What if they say, no, I want to paint mine red and have a TV aerial on it?
Oh, they can't do that. No, it has to be green. Any shade of green, but green. No red, no pink, no yellow.
What sort of people spend their holidays here?
You get all sorts of people, really, from all walks of life. Mainly people from big towns and cities who want to get away from it all. They want a nice holiday, tranquil, peaceful, lovely holiday.
One final one, we're a bit close to the sea. Not likely to get swept away here.
Well, we get some high tides now and again and a little bit of water, but no, I don't think so. I think they'll be here for another 50 or 100 or 200 years. Outlive us anyway, sir.
We'll have a word about booking a weekend down there, I think.
Well, that's good. I can fix that. No problem.
Many years ago, I asked the old station master at Dunster why they built the station so far from the beach and so far from the village. And he said, well, we thought it would be best to build it near the railway. You can't argue with that, can you? God, a fair old walk from that beach. I could do with a cuppa. Wonder if I can find a tea shop here. Wonder if I can find anything that isn't a tea shop here. Oh, Norman, you never know how welcome this cup of tea is after that long walk. You're very lucky I came in, though, because the tea is tremendous choice. How do you see that in Dunster?
Oh, there must be 12 or 14 stations which we look at the thing now. Seems to grow every year, but I think the season is getting longer as well.
From when?
Well, we go from February, we change March, and from last week to the end of October.
It may seem a bit of a daft question to somebody who lives under the shadow of it, but have you actually been into Dunster Castle?
Once, yeah. I nearly said no, but we did actually went up to a special event in the evening. But that was not actually the tourist to look around.
I could ask you where it is. You'd have a rough idea.
I'll have a rough idea,
So we're going to go and visit it.
Yeah.
Now, how's this for a 12 up and 8 down Des Ray? During the long history of Dunster Castle, several bunches of nutters have actually attacked it up this hill. And some were so daft, they even succeeded. The Saxons built a fort here to keep out the Vikings. And then in 1066, William de Mohun came across as William the Conqueror. Not British, so he actually had his own boat. But as a reward, he got Dunster. The Luttrell family acquired it and nearly lost it in the Civil War. And old Thomas Luttrell joined the Roundheads and so got attacked by the Royalists. Now, they failed to get in. So to show that he was a couple of cannonballs short of an artillery barrage, he joined them and promptly got attacked by the Roundheads, and they took it. After the Civil War, the Luttrells lived here peacefully for another few hundred years, until finally it was surrendered to the National Trust.
The grounds and the views here are absolutely wonderful. We used to play polo down there, and you know the painters came in on the train, some from as far away as India. The inside of the building is well worth a visit too. But unfortunately I've got a train to catch, so I'm going to have to leave you to discover that one for yourselves.
What an absolutely beautiful place, isn't it?
It is absolutely gorgeous. You know, I used to live in Minehead about 10 years ago, and I must say Dunster is one of the most gorgeous villages I've ever been
I'm
to.
going for a visit a bit later.
I should
Come with
have
me, you can show me the site.
I will, once we've done the bucket and spade on the beach.
Oh, I promise you that. Got to do it. Well, we've covered 20 miles of line, and we've seen 10 stations, and the one that's been doing it is...
Our Fred! Have you got a return journey?
Yeah, no problem.
Good.
Bucket and spade for you, Kevin.
Thank you very much.
Windmill for me.
And what about me?
Nothing for you, because you were rude about my guitar playing.
I'll stay out of that
Go
one.
on, you can have me windmill.
Oh, thank you
sorry.
very much. Oh, he's an oldest singer in town, aren't you, Fred? But you've never heard that before, have you?
No, that's a new one.
Have you had a good time on the rail track?
I've had a
then?
wonderful time. I'm a big kid, and just sort of think, well, shortest big kid, but
And
your
your
favourite?
Yeah,
I think Dunster, really, where we used to go on holiday.
Lovely, isn't it? The castles, you got the castles?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's been a busy man. Well, Fred, thanks for that. Time for us to say our
Brilliant.
goodbye from platform 1 of Minehead Station. I hope you had a good time. Hope you enjoyed the trip with us.
Thanks
Don't
for joining
forget
us.
your bucket and spade. Bye-bye.
Bye.